Hello everyone! So this is my final presentation talking about everything that we've learned in this class. I decided to do a slide presentation, but then also I made a little remix going over some things that we covered. So first that I want to talk about is some key points about this whole entire semester. So one thing that we talked about that I really enjoyed going over and I gained a lot from was phonemic awareness. Through this class, I learned a lot about having interventions with students over phonemic awareness and more ways to teach this. I plan on teaching the younger grades, hopefully kindergarten or first grade is where I'm really leaning towards. And so I thought that this was awesome to go over the dimensions of phonemic awareness, the assessments, and then ways to introduce phonemes and everything that we covered kind of in the first couple weeks. I tutored a third grader, and so I didn't really get to get into depth about teaching them and about the different interventions with letters and sounds too terribly much, just what she was struggling on. So I really look forward to taking this and really implementing it into my own classroom. I also pointed out the assessments. I probably did these when I was in elementary school, but never to the full extent. So I found the importance in learning the type of assessments there are for our students, like DIBELS, PASS, QPS, and the type of assessments that we give to our students actually in the classroom. So we learn a lot the past couple years about what we can do for assessments, and like we have a worksheet or paper, but we never really go into the importance of those assessments and how they help our students and how they go in with our students until this past year especially. But I really enjoyed learning about all those and knowing how to give them, how to monitor them. And that was my second point with the assessments, is knowing the importance of monitoring students' progress, various charts, rubrics, and of course DIBELS. I thought DIBELS was very easy to follow and a great thing to put into our classrooms no matter where we're teaching at. And a great point to make to kind of see how our schools that we're going into assessed our students. With that, I also looked at the fluency chart quite a bit and the rubric that was provided to go over my tutoring student and how we were leaning towards being a fluent reader, and we use that rubric a lot with the assessments. Moving on to the next point that I'll talk about is the tutoring sessions. I thought that this was a great thing that we were able to do. It really gave us an experience about getting into the field. Tutoring was a great way to gain that hands-on experience in a virtual setting, and more than ever right now, a lot of us could be looking at student teaching next semester in a virtual setting. It's one thing that we just cannot avoid. We're not guaranteed to be in the classroom 100% of the time being in the pandemic, so it's been awesome that we were able to have the one-on-one setting that we didn't get necessarily with with our methods courses and our internships. A lot of us that are in this class right now, we're also in literacy and this year math and science, where we didn't necessarily get that in the classroom experience. So being able to have these and see different pieces in work was awesome. Next we have what I learned from tutoring. I had to have a set plan. Our lesson plans were really greatly set out for our students, and I learned from my first lesson I didn't have enough details in there that I was following along. And especially my first couple times tutoring, I really needed to know what I needed to write and what my student needed to know in that setting. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't have it all written out to her early on. It was kind of hard to follow. I definitely needed to set good expectations. The student I was tutoring knew me personally, and so it was hard to set expectations right away, but when we did, the lessons went so much smoother. She definitely took it more seriously as we went along and was able to gain a lot more. And with that, having rewards for staying on task was so important for us. After we set those good expectations, we were able to have rewards. So she finished a certain amount of pictures. I brought her a surprise for finishing tutoring to her house since I knew her. And we had 16 wonderful tutoring sessions within this, where we actually were able to go up a couple reading levels with that extra work that we were doing. So that was awesome to see firsthand. So class recap about everything that we did. Literacy was full of fun and possibilities for not only us as students, but also or us as teachers becoming, or students who are becoming teachers, but also our students in our future classroom. Literacy curriculum is in every part of our education, and knowing how to properly teach and give assessments is critical as a teacher. Assessments, giving proper assessments is an important part of teaching literacy in your classroom. Proper assessments lead to appropriate interventions and growth through students in literacy in school. And then finally, interventions. With proper interventions, teachers are able to see what students can do to move forward and ensure that they don't get left behind in the curriculum, and that students are getting in proper ways and interventions right away, and it's not happening much later on. There was so much that happened in this semester with those 3 portions that we can really take away from in this class. In the future, I plan on taking all the assessment interventions that we went over in the class into my future classroom. I hope to use every tool in my toolbox that I have been able to gain in this class. I feel very confident looking at interventions students need and helping them become strong readers in my classroom and other grades to come. So with that, I have a nice little literacy review with a song I actually kind of did a remix to. So I will get that pulled up right here and I'll sing it for you all. Please excuse my singing. Well, I went down to Fort Hays State University, where I learned something I just had to have. My mind told me to learn all that I can. So literary assessment interventions did all that. And I said, hey everybody, would you look what we learned? We learned so much, moved it into the term. We did our tutoring and made all our lesson plans. Yeah, I feel pretty good about teaching young mind. Man, assessment interventions are one of a kind. I'm giving tests like QPS. I'm setting my future with pass and dibbles. It's easy to monitor score and help our students. We have stacked tool belt full of lots of tools, and I'm about to tell this class goodbye. That was a remix to the song Sold, or the also known as the Grundy County Auction incident by John Michael Montgomery. So thank you so much for joining in on my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you so much for the wonderful semester, Dr. Miller.